And welcome to Bags and Boards. Coming up on tonight's show, we talk Codex Card Time Strategy from Dave Sirlin and Sirlin Games, plus news, new releases, games on Kickstarter, and more. Also, the Heavy Cardboard crew is back talking about 18 Dixie. What have we been playing? What games have we picked up lately? Find out tonight on Bags and Boards. All right, and welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Lance McFarland here with D. Clark. D, how's everything going?
Doing well, Lance. How are you today?
Doing pretty good. This is a second take, so...
yes, sir. Take two.
Yeah, so Bags and Boards is a weekly board game review and discussion show here on KXTR 100.7 The Planet, covering everything in today's designer board game world. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. I hope everybody enjoys. If you're driving through Stephenville, listen in. If you never even heard of hobby board games, listen. You might find something that's kind of interesting. If you've heard about Magic the Gathering, today on the show, we're talking about something kind of similar to Magic the Gathering.
Sure.
So listen in, see what you think. We're on Twitter at bagsandboardstx, at facebook.com/bagsandboards, and at bagsandboardstx@gmail.com. You can find all of this info on our SoundCloud page at soundcloud.com/bagsandboards, plus all of our past reviews and interviews, and our RSS feed address, which allows you to add our show to your podcast catcher like Stitcher, Podcast Addict, and many, many more podcast catchers out there. So, also over at our SoundCloud page, if you're listening to this live on 100.7, on our SoundCloud page, every Thursday morning, our show goes up there.
That's correct.
So if you're just hearing part of it and want to catch the full thing, tune into our SoundCloud page at soundcloud.com/bagsandboards. So, D, what has been going on lately, my friend?
Not a whole lot, man. Just working the grind, Going to work, playing some games when I can. Did a little bit of wrestling, caught up on New Japan Pro Wrestling, which I'm just now getting into. Don't want to get too much into that, but...
you did some wrestling yourself?
No.
Oh, yeah, okay.
No, let's not get crazy.
Yeah, so we both got a chance to watch New Japan Pro Wrestling's annual event called Wrestle Kingdom.
Yes.
Which is kind of like their WrestleMania. And it's a different beast, but it's so good.
It was really good. The matches, the whole card was just stacked with great matches.
Best wrestlers over there in New Japan Pro Wrestling. But people from all over the world in New Japan also. I mean, Mr. Canada, Kenny Omega, took on Okada in the main event, and one of the best matches I've ever seen, D.
It was a really good match.
Stellar. And then some other great stuff as well. Let's get out of wrestling, get into board games,
yes.
D. I'm excited. It's been a crazy couple of weeks for me, but we're back in. I've played more games in the last week than I played the last couple of weeks, so
awesome.
That's been fun. So let's get into some news and some discussion, D. And tonight, like I said, the Heavy Cardboard crew is back talking about 18 Dixie. We've got our first XX game, just 18XX game. They're sitting there on the shelf waiting to be played. Hasn't been played, but these guys have played plenty of 18XX games.
Oh, yeah, they know what they're talking about.
And they're going to talk about another one here tonight. 18 Dixie coming up on Heavy Cardboard right after the news and discussion. WizKids is going to be releasing their newest Dungeons and Dragons board game. It's called Assault of the Giants. It's coming out in February. Players play giants attacking settlements to score points and gain resources. 2 versions with either painted or unpainted miniatures. Some miniatures as big as 5 inches tall. Some big miniatures coming in this game.
Pretty good sized mini right there, 5 inches tall.
Yeah, it's not bad, right?
Yeah.
WizKids took over the production of the D&D board games last year or the year before with Temple of Elemental Evil. And this is just another game, I think, in that line of games like The Legends of Drizzt and Castle Ravenloft, that series of games. So have you ever played any of those D&D games?
I have not played the miniatures games. I have played the Lords of Waterdeep game.
Gotcha,
which is a solid worker placement type game.
Yeah, that's set in the D&D universe.
Yes, it is.
There's a couple of there's that, and then there's the game that came out from Gale Force 9 that's set in the Underdark where you all are playing Dark Elf families.
Yes.
And then there's this line that now I guess is going to have 5 games where it's all miniatures based games campaign games, right?
Yes.
And then there's some off the wall stuff like the card game that you're supposed to play if you were playing a game of D&D and you were in a saloon or something, if you're in a pub or something.
Right.
In the game, your characters were in a pub and you were going to sit down and talk to like a person in the pub, like you would play this actual physical card game,
Right.
as like a bet or something, rather than just like, oh, let's roll some dice, which is kind of cool, right?
Yes,
You know what I'm
absolutely.
talking about?
Three Dragon Ante, I believe, is the name of the game.
Yeah,
it's
that's
a good.
what it's
It's a fun little card game.
Yeah. So anyway, Game Salute is going to be releasing Richard Breeze's newest game, Key to the City, London, later this month. So if you're a fan of the Key series from Richard Breeze, I believe this is almost like a remake of Keyflower. So if you like Keyflower and want to try this or never got to play Keyflower, check it out. Stoneblade Entertainment is going to be releasing Ascension Year 3 box that includes everything released for Ascension during its third year, which is an interesting release, a way to release something.
Yeah, that's kind of curious.
So that includes, I think, the main big boxes, Rise of Vigil and Darkness Unleashed. Have you played either of those?
I have not.
What Ascension have you played? I've got an Ascension at home, but I haven't played it yet.
The only Ascension I've played is the original Ascension.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They release a new game almost every year.
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
I
Year,
guess
18 months, something like
I
that.
think you're looking at like maybe 2 for this 1 year,
Right.
But I think this is going to come with all the expansions and, like promos and everything that came out that year. A cool game that I saw from Essen this past October or November, whenever Essen is, that really caught my eye was called, I'm not sure how to pronounce this, but it's Flame Rouge.
I think it's Flam.
Flamme Rouge. It's a FLAMMEROUGE. So it's a bicycle racing game, and it has a lot to do with like drafting and stuff as
Right.
well. So you've got these little minis of these bicycle riders, and you're just racing around the board, and there's a lot of card play involved, but like some drafting elements too, where you can catch the draft and stuff.
Okay.
So it looked really interesting. It looked. I don't know. It kind of reminded me of there's another famous German bicycle racing game. Have you ever heard of it?
I have not. You've lost me, sir.
Okay, well there is. I promise you, D. But I can't remember what it's called clearly. But it reminded me of that, and I always wanted to play that. But it's kind of like a game that you're not going to just find in a store, you know? What I
Right.
mean? So Flamme Rouge is coming out later this month from Brain Games. Brain Games is pretty cool. They released Ice Cool or at the end of last year, which is a really, really interesting game. So they're doing some different kind of stuff. Themes and Cosmos is going to be releasing a slew of games, including the first 3 Exit games from Inca and Marcus Brand. They're called Exit, the Abandoned Cabin, Exit, the Pharaoh's Tomb, and Exit, the Secret Lab. So, Dee, what do you think about these games? I mean, you've got escape rooms, like real escape rooms, which
Right.
are kind of expensive to go to, $50, $60 a person. I've looked into going to them. I really want to try one, but I mean, they're expensive. So you've got board games trying to recreate the feel of an escape room.
I'm curious. Like, I haven't played any of these games.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm curious as to how well they are able to capture that feeling of solving puzzles and actually making progress towards getting out of the room. Because most of the escape rooms, you're shut in and you have to solve a series of puzzles. And like puzzle A gives you clues on how to solve puzzle B,
Yeah.
which gives you clues on how to solve puzzle C, so on and so forth, until you finally solve the one that gives you the key to get out of the room.
Mm-hmm.
I can see how that could be translated into a board game, but I could also see how that could be done terribly. So they have my attention. It's not something that I would instantly turn away, but it's not something that I'm super excited about either. If that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah, I'm interested in it because, last year you had, there was a game called Escape the Room. Then there was the Escape Room, the game, which you
Right.
can actually buy at Walmart. Even here in Stephenville, they have it. And that got pretty good reviews. There's a game coming out next year called Unlock, which is pretty similar. They're going to be releasing multiple. Unlock is pretty interesting. It's coming from Space Cowboys, which is the same company that released, say, Splendor and Time Stories. And this is kind of similar to Time Stories, where when you buy the base game, you're kind of buying the system.
Right.
It's almost like you're buying a PlayStation, right? And then they'll release modules for it that you plug in and play the module, and then you're done with it. You
Right.
know? So they're kind of continuing on with that game with an expiration. Like once you finished it, you're done.
You're
with
done. You know the answer.
Yeah, so they're continuing on that like they did with Time Stories, but doing an escape room theme to it.
Okay.
So, but this one that's coming out, what I say it is called? It is called. They're called Exit. Yeah. So there's 3 coming out this year, and they're from Inca and Marcus Brand, who is a pretty well-known design team that
Yes.
designs a lot of really interesting Euro games. So really interested to see that. Last bit of news, Vital Lacerda's first game, I believe it was his first game, CO2, will be re-released by GeoChixit or geochix.it in 2017, and Stronghold Games has hinted at the possibility of reprinting it in the U.S. Updated rulebook, components, a solo variant, a cooperative variant, things like that, all added to the game of shorter play time.
Okay.
So I like Vital Lacerda quite a bit.
Yes, you do.
I've never got to play Vinos, but I mean, you've got the Gallerist, you've got Kanban is a fantastic game. So his first game, I'd be interested to try it. I mean, people that like Vital Lacerda, his first game is just as big on their list as any of his other games.
Sure.
So D, we're going to take a quick break, but before we do, I wanted to let everybody know that Bags and Boards is brought to you by Game and Movie Traders. Buy, sell, and trade both new and used video games for any console, DVDs and Blu-rays, and comic books. They also feature a selection of board and card games, including Magic the Gathering and other collectible card games. They're located at 2900 West Washington Street, Suite 60, right next to the movie theater here in Stephenville, and can be reached by calling 965-GAME or online at facebook.com/Game and Movie Traders Sville. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, the Heavy Cardboard crew talking about 18 Dixie.
One more time before I go.
New school.
Sorry. If she get me cheating, I will never tell her sorry.
Old school. At your school. Oh! Playing the best in hip hop. Here on 100.7 KXTR The Planet.
Did you just look down at your phone? You did it again, didn't you? You know, you're flying down the road in a 3-ton hunk of steel, and a text takes your eyes off the road for an average of 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's long enough to travel the length of a football field and cause some serious damage. Turn it off. Trust me, whatever it is, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextsstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
I'm excited to hear your take on this next one. Tell us a little bit about 18 Dixie.
All right, 18 Dixie was designed by Mark Derrick and published by Deep Thought. It plays 3 to 6 players. It's about an hour per player, but I've heard that you don't want to play 6. It plays 3 to 5. In the game, 18 Dixie is set in the southeast region of the United States. It begins right after the Civil War. So therefore, like Atlanta starts out worth very little, but by the end of the game, it's the most profitable city on the map. And, you know, it's your normal 18XX game, but with subtle variations. And the first variation is how the companies or privates work. The round of play area of the map is quite different than you may be used to. For the first 6 operating rounds, various things happen between each one. The game begins with the auction of the privates, and they're numbered 1 through 7. Then you have 2 operating rounds, and then the remaining 2 trains go into the open market. After that, another stock round begins with more privates and miners available for purchase. And then between operating rounds 3 and 4 and the third stock round, certain numbered miners close, and then the rest of the miners close between operating rounds 5 and 6. And then after that, it's just a normal 18XX operating round, stock round scenario.
Yeah, that when I saw that, because I've yet to play this. I saw you guys playing this, but I saw it. Normally it just goes stock round, operating 1, operating round 2, operating round 3. And I saw that, and it looked like, you know, one of those yes/no diagrams.
It does. It's a very long. it's a process. But
it looked interesting.
Yeah, it's really nice that it's right there on the board, and you can see going forward what's about to close. And so what's really cool about the game is that, I think anyway, the miners always split profits 50-50 with the owner. The charter comes with a 2 train, and the train is printed on it, so you can always run. And it's a great moneymaker for you to be able to start a good company later on, but it's also good to get the more expensive track lays around the board. And there are so many companies, and the coolest thing is that the minors grow up into majors. And so when that happens, all money, tokens, trains, everything will go along to the major. Like, it'll just kind of grow up, and the major kind of absorbs all the minor stuff.
That's cool.
And then in addition, some of the minors will allow you preferred shares in the major companies, and those preferred shares do not count against your 60% ownership cap.
So you can go above 60% if you have those preferred
if you have the preferred shares. So it's very important to at least try to focus on opening minors that you know will go well for folding into major companies. It even says on the charters which ones kind of work best together. And then 2 of the majors can be started by the purchase of a private company at the very beginning, and that gives you the presidency. And it also puts 3 shares into the open market, so you're immediately floated.
Nice. All right.
Another pretty cool thing about 18 Dixie is that the train ruster, that whenever the trains rust, you get salvage value. So you get to recoup a little bit of your money when the trains rust.
Oh, so you can kind of use that money to roll into your next train purchase if you're trainless or whatever.
Exactly. And another thing, one of the privates has what's called spare parts. It's just a little token. And you can add those spare parts to a rusted train, and that allows you to run for one more operating round.
That's pretty cool.
So you can have your spare parts run one last operating round. Then when it rusts, you get salvage value. So it's pretty cool.
So it also it softens the blow for whoever has that one private, right?
For sure. So the kind of difficulties with there being privates and minors and majors and the intricacies of when stuff closes and when other things become available, that can be a little difficult for a brand new player kind of to wrap their brain around it.
When you say brand new player, do you mean brand new 18xxer or brand new?
Yeah,
okay.
Like you played 1846 a couple of times and you want to jump into something a little bit more meaty. That helps you a little bit because of the train salvage, and being able to maybe get that spare parts private company at the beginning of the game. So really the only thing that's not cool about the game is the actual purchase of the game. It's pretty expensive. It's $203 on the Golden Spike website.
But at least it's not Deep Thought Games. I mean, it is, but it isn't. You don't have to wait 4 or 5 years. You can get it in a couple weeks.
Exactly.
So at least there's that. See, silver lining.
Yeah. But one of the reasons why it's so expensive actually is because it comes with additional components for 2 more games, 18GA and 18MS.
Right. So you have smaller Georgia and Mississippi are 2 smaller 18xx games. So you get 3 in 1.
Yeah. So that's not bad for $203.
That, right?
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. That's my only gripe about it. It's another great 18xx game that I can't wait to explore more. It's just I discovering that I'm liking 18xx games that have minors that turn into majors, like Ardennes and EU and this one.
Oh, ones that grow.
So they grow up.
Companies that grow up.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool. I'm excited to play it. I mean, I saw you guys, everybody having a good time, and I'm walking around with my box of Imperial Millionarios with all these strangers at the con anybody want to play.
Well, you know, I offered.
It's all good. Nah. We'll play it soon enough.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't really feel comfortable giving it a rating. I've only played it once, but no, that's 18 Dixie.
KXTR 100.7 is brought to you by Philip Vasquez at tsulawyer.com. Philip offers TSU students and Stephenville residents law services for DUIs, drug offenses, and other legal matters. Philip can be reached at 254-796-2270, but all information can be found at tsulawyer.com. Philip, tsulawyer.com is dedicated to supporting Tarleton Student Radio.
All right, D. Also, man, I wanted to tell you, Circle A Skate Shop is located inside Game and Movie Traders here in Stephenville, next door to the movie theater. They offer skateboards and longboards and carry accessories, including trucks, wheels, skate videos, and more. Information at 965-GAME or by searching Circle A Skate Shop Stephenville on Facebook. So, D, let's get into talking about some games we played in the last week. You go first. Have you played any, besides Codex, have you played any games in the last week?
Got a little bit of retro gaming in, played a little Hero Quest, did some Catan, a little bit of deck building. My first time to play through all 3 of the Lord of the Rings deck building games by Cryptozoic.
Okay.
They use the same system as like the DC games, the Cerberus system, but they've got their own spins on ways to end the game early and ways that players can lose.
Okay.
Very interesting. Makes them unique games.
Okay.
That's about it, man.
Played some Catan, you said?
Yes, I did.
And what else did you say?
Played some Hero Quest, the old school like pseudo D&D game.
Yeah.
And then the Lord of the Rings deck builders.
Okay. I got a chance to play not only Codex with you, but my wife and I also played Lagranio, the dice game.
Nice.
Again, I got out the rules for Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle, and I had some trouble with that rule book. I mean, I would be able to figure it out, but it's not the best rule book. It looks like it's going to be a fun game. I'm excited to try it.
Sure.
A friend of ours, Steven, said that he's played it with his
he has.
family. He's played almost all of it, and that he's going to teach it to us. So
I'm really excited for that one.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about next week. I hope we'll be able to. He said that, the first game takes 30 minutes, and then you go up from there. So we're going to start with game 3 at, say, probably like 45 minutes, and then 4, 5, 6, 7. So, I mean, I bet between a couple of different play sessions with 2 or 3 hours each, I bet we can get all 7 games in.
Probably so.
Or all 5 games in that we're going to play, because we're going to start at game 3 like is suggested. Also got a couple plays of Splendor in. My wife and I over the last couple of nights have busted out Splendor.
Nice.
I just told my wife, I wanted to play a game, and I let her choose, and she likes Splendor quite a bit, and so do I, but it's definitely one of her favorites. And the first night she just destroyed me, and then last night I got her back. So tonight we're going to have the rubber match and see who comes out victorious.
Sounds good, man.
So that's all the games I've been playing. The only game I picked up in the last week was The Networks from Gilhova Informal Ferret Games. I punched everything last night, got out all the cards. This game looks fantastic. It's a Euro game with Euro stuff going on, but the theme of it is you all run a TV network, and you're having to hire stars, book TV shows, and get ads for those shows, right?
Right.
So you're trying to build up your revenue to be able to hire more stars and bring more TV shows on to build up your revenue. You have to ditch the shows at the right time. Some of them, if you think they're rolling good enough, you can send into syndication to be able to bring you a little bit of money. Some you just cancel outright. But if you're not at the peak of it, right, you want to be at the peak right before it starts coming down, right before the viewership starts coming down.
Sure.
Because if you're not, then your opponents can get that and siphon a little bit off of the end of it. And you don't want that to happen.
No, you never want that to happen.
So you really got to work to get rid of shows at the right time. That's kind of the main crux of the game, is bringing things on, making money to be able to hire stars to put into TV shows. And the stars are like, it's interesting, like New Year's Eve host, or like that kid from the commercials, or like guy who dies and everything, you know, things like that. And a lot of the TV shows are definitely on the nose. Like one was The Baccalaureate, and the picture on it is a graduate holding a flower. You know? So little funny jokes like that. But it looks like a lot of fun. I'm excited to play it. Gilhova. I've played Bad Medicine, but that's a party game. So his first game was Merchants, Battle Merchants. I think it's called Battle Merchants, where you're playing a guy who goes and gets equipment off of dead heroes in a dungeon and then sells it to the new heroes coming through to go try and fight monsters in that dungeon. And people like that game quite a bit. He was running a tournament of that at BGG-Con a couple of years when I went, and a lot of people there. So I'm excited to play a new game of his that isn't a party game, even though his party game is really good. So new board game releases and release dates, only one, D. It's a definitely an interesting time of year in the world of board games.
Yes, it is.
You know, the big conventions are over. Convention season is done. Christmas is over, so board game releases are very, very light. Right now is a time of year for lists, whether they be best or anticipation, one of the two. You know, it's a time of year when people are doing lists, and there's not a lot of board game releases, not a lot of news, not a lot going on, just good games to be played, right?
This is a good time to catch up on that backlog of games you have that you haven't played yet.
For sure. You don't have to worry about new games that are coming out. You're not worried about news and all the ancillary side stuff going on in the board game world. So yeah, good time to play games. So D, we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about Codex Card Time Strategy from Dave Sirlin and Sirlin Games, and we'll be right back.
In my car,
because I'm driving a lot.
It's okay to roll your windows down and turn your radio all the way up.
In my car.
Only if you have it tuned to the planet.
Come on, y'all.
Otherwise, it's not okay. Got it?
Definitely in the car.
Is that a faucet running?
That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
KXTR 100.7 The Planet is proudly supported by Golden China Restaurant in the Bosque River Center. Located next to the movie theater, Golden China offers lunch, dinner, and takeout all day with a buffet option during lunch. A full menu can be found by searching Golden China on Facebook. Otherwise, they can be reached at 254-968-5522. Golden China Restaurant, offering an international alternative to Stephenville for over 30 years.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. This is Bags and Boards here on KXTR 100.7 The Planet, covering everything in today's I messed it up. Covering everything in today's designer board game world. Game and Movie Traders supports Bags and Boards. They're located at 2900 West Washington Street, right next door to the movie theater. They carry a selection of board and card games, including Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and more. They also host groups and tournaments for all of these games, plus Dungeons & Dragons, Warhammer, and more. More information, they can be reached at 965game or at facebook.com/Game and Movie Traders Sville. So, D, let's get into the review. We got a lot to talk about. Card Time Strategy. So, Codex Card Time Strategy is designed by Dave Sirlin and published by Sirlin Games. I found out, D, that Codex Card Time Strategy is about 4 years old, and I had no idea. This game was kickstarted last year, I believe, or maybe even the year before, but delivered last year, towards the end of last year. But I read something interesting about it, and I thought, it seems like this game has been around for a while. So I went and looked on the forums, and there were forum posts for this on BGG as long as 4 years ago.
It's crazy.
So what I think happened is I started talking about it 4 years ago, and then I think at some point he released, from what I could glean, I think he might have released the. So in the game, there's a bunch of different colored decks, but there's two neutral decks. One's called Finesse and one's called something else. And I think they released those two decks online a long time ago.
Just as here's a concept?
Yeah. It was like a print and play, because people, 3 years ago were playing this game, but I don't think that all the different colored decks existed, right?
Okay.
So, D, what I found out, something else interesting I found out, was that Codex, we know it's a customizable, non-collectible card game,
right?
But it's set in this universe called the Fantasy Strike universe. So doing a little digging, I found out that Fantasy Strike is an online fighting video game by Sirlin Games. I guess their video game development division, that you can play on patreon.com/Sirlin. That's Sirlin. So it's right now it's in the alpha stage, and you can play, I think there's 6 playable characters, but it's just like a Tekken, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter type fighting game. Featuring all of these characters that we've been playing in this game.
Okay.
That's
crazy,
pretty
right?
interesting. Yeah. The one guy who's like kind of like the main is the main cover guy for the game is the one of the ninjas from the white deck in the game.
Okay.
So the Fantasy Strike universe and the Codex universe are inspired by real-time strategy games like StarCraft and Warcraft. That's what they're going for. I was like slightly confused about that because it doesn't seem like a real-time strategy game, right? But kind of what I think he's going for is the almost like the tech tree nature of a real-time strategy game, where you're like choosing a path and going down that path, right?
That's very much what it feels like. You have to, at some point, you have to specialize in one of the various facets that each color presents.
Yeah, so I think that's what they're going for from real-time strategy games. So Codex is a mix of deck building, which is kind of the main mechanisms of how you're going to get your cards, and you do deck building like you add to your deck, not from buying cards like you do in a typical deck builder, but you're going to do it in a mechanism from the game Mage Wars, which is you have a binder full of all your cards, and you're going to be choosing 2 cards each round. At the end of your turn, you choose 2 cards, set them aside. The next time you shuffle up your discard pile to be able to draw from, all of those cards that you've been pulling at the end of each round will be there, right?
Absolutely.
So just like other deck builders, and something that I started kind of getting a sense of in our last couple of plays is that you want to try and thin your deck. And like in most deck builders, there's a lot of ways to thin your deck.
Right.
And this one, not quite as many. You have
There's
to
really
be
only one.
You have to be kind of inventive, right?
Yes.
And there are some ways to... There are a couple ways in a couple of the decks to trash some cards, but not a lot, right?
Not very many.
You have to hire workers.
That's pretty much the main way to do it, is to hire more workers.
So what's going to happen is you choose a color of a deck, right? So there's green, there's blue, there's white, there's all the different colors, right? So they all have a different theme to them. They're all set in the same universe, but all with a different theme. Green is like, big creatures and foresty type stuff going on.
Right.
Blue is like law, order, stuff like that. White is like this ninja monk clan. Yeah, and purple is really interesting. It's got like this time travel theme. So like the 3 specialties are like past, present, and future. So that's what these decks are. They're a main color, but then each color is going to have specialties, right?
Correct.
So there's 3 for each. So like I said, past, present, and future for the purple deck. For the green, you've got growth, balance, and feral. So different types of magic for each one of these colors.
And they play shockingly different depending on which specialty you go into.
They do, yeah.
Black, for example, was the first one that I really noticed. One of the 3 specialties is necromancy, and basically what it wants to do is make a whole bunch of skeletons, and none of them are very big, none of them are very powerful, but there's a couple of cards in the deck specifically designed to help skeletons, and so then your tiny little guys get a little bit beefier, and you've got so many of them that you can just go around whatever blockers there are and get a bunch of damage done.
Yeah,
and that's how when we played I won. But then after we were done, I went and looked at the other 2 specialties, and one of them was death, and then I don't remember what the third one was, but the death one was all about just sitting back, playing defense, and making your opponent's creatures completely useless.
Yeah.
So where the necromancy one was about making all of your guys and then making them, bigger and better, death played almost the exact opposite way. It wanted to sit back, relax, and make your opponent's creatures completely useless.
Okay. Yeah. It's they are really, really different. And what you're trying to do in this game is destroy each other's base. You got 20 life on the base. You've got the cards come in different levels. So your starter deck, they're level 0 cards, right? So your base counts as your tech level 0 building. Then you're going to be trying to build via having enough workers and paying enough gold. You're going to be building Tech 1, Tech 2, and Tech 3 bases. And those are going to allow you to buy and use higher level cards. So when you start getting these cards, your starter deck is going to be all Tech level 0 spells, creatures, things like that.
Right.
And you're going to start playing, and then you're going to be... you can do a lot of different things during your turn. You start with a hand of 5 cards. You get gold from your workers. You start with either 4 or 5 workers, depending on if you're the starting player or the other player. And then every turn, you get gold for your workers. You can add a worker every time by paying a gold, but then that's going to give you an extra gold for every turn after that, right?
And it also burns one of the cards out of your deck that you've decided is not whatever direction you're wanting to go in. This card doesn't help what I'm trying to do. Get rid of it.
Yeah, I kind of wish that they had a mechanism where, like, for my first worker in a turn, I pay 1 gold, but then for my second worker I want to hire, I have to pay 2 gold or something like that.
Right.
Like, give you the ability to hire more workers in a turn to burn specific cards that you have in your hand now. Because just like a deck builder, at the end of this hand, I don't keep what's in my hand. I have to discard it, right?
Correct.
So what if I was like, I really want to get rid of these 2 workers right now, but I'm going to have to wait till that cycles all the way back through. You know what I mean? But anyway, that doesn't exist. So
unfortunately it doesn't exist, and it's probably for the best, because otherwise you would just thin your deck out to the 3 or 4 cards that you want to see almost immediately.
Yeah, that's
your
true.
first couple of turns you'd pay 1 or 2 or however much money you had to place as many workers as you could to thin the deck out, which then you're getting the cards you want as soon as you want them.
Yeah, I do kind of wish that there was a little bit more ways to thin the deck out, but there's enough, right?
And there is, interestingly, once you have the Tech 3 building built, or no, I take that back. Once you have 10 workers placed, you can just not put any more cards in. You have the option to take less than 2.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But the Tech 3 cards, for the most part, are so good that you want them in the deck.
Yeah.
So you end up spending time to get those very best cards in there.
I will say that's another interesting point. We'll get back to how the game plays, but you very rarely got up to that Tech level 3.
And I don't think either of us, I got to Tech level 3 a couple of times, but I never saw
the level 3 cards. Not quick enough to, at the end of that turn, get the cards out, set them aside. Then after your next turn, they're in your discard. Then they get shuffled in. Then you have to draw them, play them, then use them.
Right.
I mean, you're talking 5-6 turns before they became useful.
Yes,
know?
And by that point, the game was over or very close to it.
Yeah, so that's interesting. It might be interesting to try a game where you start at 30 life or something. Because, I mean...
Just to make the game a little longer.
You can just do that.
You can. I mean, sure.
So anyway, you're going to get a hand of 5 cards. You're going to get gold from your workers. So you have 3 heroes up at the top that are kind of like your main guys for each of the different specialties in your color. So those 3 heroes are going to have different levels. So say level 1 through 3 is 1 special power and a certain... every character card has an attack and a health on them, right? So... each different level is going to have a different ability, and it's going to have a different attack and health, right?
Correct.
So on your hero, you're going to try and level them up. You pay 1 gold to level them up, and you can do that as many times as you want during turn. And with that, you're going to not be able to just jump up to the last level right off the bat, because say level 1 through 3 is on that first band with the first power and health and attack, and then you're going to have to level them up, say 4 times to get to that second thing, right?
Right.
So they've got 7 levels, but they're just in 3 different sections.
Well, and different heroes have different numbers of levels.
Yeah, that's true too.
I saw one that only had 5.
Yeah.
And then I saw one that I think had 9 for his max level. So
yeah,
they vary a little bit depending on what color you're playing.
Like his top thing's powerful enough that you need to spend some time and some money getting up to his main thing. So once you hire your heroes, pretty much all they are just another character, but they've got better abilities and
they've got really cool useful abilities once they hit. Well, some of them have them immediately. But as you level them up, their abilities, you get more of them, they become better.
Yeah, but you do have to have a hero out to be able to cast spells, as we found out. And we were playing that wrong for a while. But you've got your heroes, you've got your spells that you're playing, you've got your creatures that you're playing. At the end of each turn, you're going to pull cards out of your binder, add them to your deck. You're going to discard your entire hand, reshuffle once your draw pile is out, and then start drawing again. So your deck of cards is just getting better and better and better as you go along. And then what you're going to do is every turn you can level up, you can hire workers, you can cast spells, you can play as many cards and spells as you can afford, right?
Correct.
Level up as much as you can afford. Everything costs money in this game. But then what you're going to do is right at the end of your turn, you can attack as much as you want, and all attacks are a 1 versus 1 attack. You say, this guy is attacking this guy, right? Or you can attack buildings. You can attack, even like upgrade cards that just put like a spell out on the board, like, you hire workers for free. Those all have a health. You can get rid of those as well. And then all your buildings, your Tech 1, 2, and 3 buildings all have a health, and your base has a health. So I'm attacking your building, but the only way you can stop me from attacking your building is by setting up your squad. What was it called?
Patrollers.
Yeah, setting up your patrol units, right? So you've got 5 spaces, maybe 6.
5.
Okay, 5 spaces up at the top of your board, and that's your patrol zone. So what you're going to do at the very end of your turn is you're going to move heroes up into heroes and creatures up into those slots, and that is the first thing I have to attack. I can't get to your base. I can't get to your other creatures before I attack your patrol zone. So those give you different abilities too, like 1 patrol zone space gives you +1 attack. 1 patrol zone space has to be hit before anything else.
Correct.
So if you have something that you want to be hit to give you another ability, put it there, things like that.
Absolutely.
So that's pretty much the game. You're going to be attacking, defending, just like any other Magic style 1-versus-1 game, until someone has gotten 20 life away from the base. So D, tell me general thoughts about what you think about Codex Card Time Strategy, and anything I missed in the rules of the game.
No, I think you did a pretty good job of covering the game as far as the rules and game mechanics. One of the things that stuck out to me, and we touched on it a little bit, was how each of the different colors have very distinct play styles, and you can, to an extent, mix and match between those styles, which absolutely gives the game a lot of replayability, because you can try different styles, different strategies. The artwork is very solid. It is a little bit cartoony. If that's not your style, then maybe it's not for you. But I really enjoyed it. They're not kiddish. They're solid. It's solid art, just in that particular style that some people occasionally don't care for. The game itself, all of the pieces are pretty solidly put together.
Yeah, sure.
We got the Super Deluxe box with all of the bells and whistles, all of the counters, all of the tokens, all of the extra things that you can get for a game like Magic, but most people just use dice for.
Yeah. So let's talk about the differences and the ways that you can buy the game, right?
Right, sure.
So you've got some really small versions, which I haven't looked much into, but then you have kind of a normal size box, which is a normal price. And that one comes with a red and a green deck, right?
Right.
And then I think you can buy the other decks to add on to it.
Okay.
But if you want everything all in one shot, say that you download the print and play, you just look into it enough that you think, I'm going to like this, hear enough reviews, read enough reviews. There's a $175 box. That's the deluxe version of the game.
Right.
I think it's about $175. That's what I read or heard somewhere. And that version of the game has everything. So it came with neoprene mats for the 1-versus-1 game,
which are probably $30 a pop.
Yeah, it came with cardboard mats for the other players. So there are different versions of this game you can
Absolutely.
play. The main game, what the game is designed to do, is be a 1-versus-1. You can do 2-versus-2, and you can do a free-for-all that's 2 to 5 players, or 3 to 5 players. So it comes with mats for all those different players. Like you said, it comes with tokens. It comes with a life counter for the 1-versus-1 game, 20 to 0. And then it pretty much just comes with all the different cards, right?
Yeah, it comes with every card that supposedly they're ever going to make for this game.
Yeah, that was kind of their deal. It's like, this is it. There's not going to be any more. They don't want it to feel collectible at all, and not even collectible in the LCG sense. A living card game is technically not collectible, but if you want to keep up with it, you're still going to spend an insane amount of money.
Over time, you will.
Because, take any of those Fantasy Flight games, LCGs, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, Warhammer, any of them, they are pumping those things out. They come out all the time.
Yeah, once a month.
So, if those are $20, $30 a piece, the expansion packs, you're going to spend a lot of money over the course of a year to keep up with them.
Yeah, it adds up. They nickel and dime you to death for sure, which is something that Mr. Sirlin here said that he absolutely wanted to stay away from.
Yeah.
So I don't expect to see anything else come out for Codex, which is kind of disappointing because there's a lot here and there's certainly room for more.
Yeah, there is room for more, but I got to say, if we really talk about the variation in the game, it's pretty staggering. It's a lot, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Because not only do you have the 8 decks, which is just enough already, but then each time you play one of those decks, not only are you playing with a different specialization to try that out, but a different strategy with that specialization. So it seems like a game that even if you just had this game and you played it a lot, it doesn't seem like it would get tired very quick.
No, it seems like it would take quite a while before you're like, okay, I know what to do with each of these. This is the optimal path. That said, with any game that they say, there are going to be no expansions, it will have a shelf life. It will eventually run out.
For somebody, it's going to.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like, the BattleCon series they come out with more stuff for that, but it's just a gigantic box that I could never see myself getting tired of, as even if I played it a lot more than I do, it's got a shelf life. It would be difficult to hit that shelf life. So
that's probably a fair statement for this as well.
Yeah, and there are the 8 decks. There's also some neutral decks, which I think is how you could deck build a little.
Yes.
And I think there are some other ways to deck build, like maybe even add the colors together, but I'm not quite sure how to do that yet.
The rules book mentions playing with multicolored decks, but it doesn't go into very much in terms of strategies or ideas or ways to go about that other than these are the following restrictions if you do.
Yeah. So it's got a lot of variation in how you can play it. I've got to say the difficulty level, I mean, it's there, right? The difference in difficulty levels, like say the white deck is pretty simple, and the red deck.
Yes.
Pretty simple to get started with and to play with. I mean, that's why the red and the green is kind of like the base set, right?
Absolutely.
Those are simpler to get started with and play with, and each of the different specializations in those colors have a different difficulty level. But then you get up to, like, say, the purple, and you didn't get a chance to play the purple, but I'm sure you played one that I didn't play that was also more difficult.
Yeah, the blue one, both times that I played the blue one, it was very difficult to manage, and I ended up losing both of those games against you when I was playing blue.
Yeah.
The first one I chalked up to learning curve. I didn't really, fully grasp what I was doing at that point in time.
Yeah.
Really wanted to come back and give it another crack, and even though that was at that point my 4th or 5th playthrough and I solidly understood the rules, still ended up losing the game.
Yeah, for sure. And it's hard to, just like with any game, the first game you play, halfway through you go, oh, wish I would have done this, and this.
Right.
Because you just have, everything's arbitrary, right?
Yep.
So, but there are some different difficulties in the decks. I got to say, the purple deck with the time travel thing, you're doing, that's the cool thing here, is that everything is so different that, I mean, like, you have these rune tokens, right?
Right.
And those are used for a different purpose for every single deck.
And almost every deck needs, in theory, could need them. Let me word it that way.
So, like, say the time stuff, when you're in the past, when you're playing cards that are part of the past specialization,
right,
you're putting tokens on those, and every round you take one off, and when the last token is off, it dies. Yeah. But when you put a card out there from the future, you put tokens on it, it doesn't actually arrive. You can't actually play with it until you've taken the last token off.
Right.
So, one's coming, you've got to get to that point in the future. The other one, once you get to the present, it's dead.
It's dead.
So, really interesting, the differences in the decks. I like the way the combat works. What did you think about the combat? You're a guy who likes combat in games. What did you think about the combat? It's simple.
It's very simple, straightforward TCG combat.
Yeah.
My guy is attacking your guy, or my guy is attacking you, or your base in this case.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their straightforward offense and defense. It's not a Japanese game, so there's not a bunch of zeros at the end, which I really like. That's probably my number one turnoff with certain TCGs, like Force of Will, for example.
Okay.
Is there's all these superfluous zeros.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, instead of having a 5/5, you have a 500/500.
Really?
It's weird.
Huh. Didn't know that.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh's the same way.
Yeah. Okay.
But
this one actually doesn't have defense, which it kind of streamlines it even a little bit more.
The fact
instead
that
of your defense hitting my health, just your attack hits my health.
Right. Well, I mean, that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
That you're doing damage based on attack. The fact that creatures do not heal, or your heroes for that matter do not heal at the end of combat gives combat a little bit more weight to it.
Yeah.
In Magic and several other TCGs, if you get a big thing, you can just beat people to death with it.
Yeah.
You have to come up with some sort of kill spell, which they don't really have very much of in this game. But instead of doing that, you can go, well, you've got a 4/4. Well, I've got 4 1/1s, so we can get him off the board.
Yeah,
this
true.
is not a permanently debilitating problem.
Yeah, and you can attack pretty much anything with anything, right? I mean,
yes,
your inanimate objects can't attack, but you can. I could say this guy attacks this guy also attacks this guy also attacks this guy. I mean,
right, and they're all resolved one at a time, so you don't have to send a bunch of extra things and then let the defender with his big thing decide how he wants to do damage. As the person in control, you get to decide exactly what you're sending and when, which is really nice.
Yeah, that's true. And the game is kind of interesting because, at the end of your turn, you set up your patrol zone, and then you just hope that everything kind of works out for you. You know what
Yep.
I mean? You hope that they don't end up with enough to be able to, destroy your patrol zone and get through to your building. And your units do come in tapped, or turned sideways.
Yeah, they come in and turn.
I don't want to have to pay Fantasy Flight anybody or Wizards of the
Wizards.
Coast.
Yeah. They do come in rested. There's a good word.
Yeah. Exhausted is the word. Yeah.
There you go.
That they use in this game.
So that is something you have to take into account. Just because you played some guys doesn't mean you can do anything with them yet. But it's certainly very interesting. It's a solid card game. There's nothing wrong with it. That's for sure.
No, not at all. I really, here's kind of my thing with this game. I can see how good of a game it is. And, one of the hard things about reviewing a game like this is that this isn't a game that's necessarily meant to sit down and go, okay, I'm going to play with this deck. And then that's when you start looking at the cards.
Right.
This is a game that's meant to sit down and say, plan out a strategy with your deck. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, I know when I go into this game that this is a specialization I'm going to choose. This is a strategy I'm going for. Hopefully the cards will come up like I need them to, just like in other TCGs. So it's kind of hard to review because every time we sat down, we were playing with a new deck. You know what I mean? The only thing really any of us got was you playing the blue deck twice. And really then, even with the multiple specializations, it wasn't the same.
No, it wasn't.
So it is kind of hard to review. I would like to, if we get some more plays of this in, even say over the next 6 months, touch on it again.
Just come back and review it sometime, like say in the fall.
Yeah. So, but with the game like this, for me, it's like I can tell it's a good game, and I would like to play it more. But just like with all games like this, I mean, you know this about me.
You're a Care Bear.
I find it hard. I don't know. It's a weird thing I get where like I feel this tension that's not even really there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because like everybody's so used to playing these games, and I mean I am too, to a degree. I played a lot of Magic, even Dice Masters. You know what I mean? But the like attacking in games and like, oh, this card says that like your hero has to go back to its home base. Like that makes me feel bad to do that. Like you worked so hard to like get your hero out there and level him up, and like I feel like I'm ruining your stuff, and that's what's happening.
Well, you are, but that's the point.
You have to become like a heartless, like player of that game, not a heartless person, but like, that you're in this game and like your like leaders and heroes in this game are heartless and they don't care. You know what I mean? It's really interesting. These games are, I got to say, I know it sounds silly, but they're like really like can be tough for me to play. Like I do it, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it's not like it's really hurting me or anything, but it's like some moments come up in these games where I go, oh, I really don't want to do this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I really, really don't want to do this. Like he's been building up this strategy for this whole thing, and like this is just going to ruin it,
Right.
I wish there were more decks in games like this and there may be, more about these games than I do, that like come at it from like I'm going to like peacefully win this game, like I don't know, how would that work? Like almost like a power drain more than like an attack, or like
Magic has a handful of cards throughout its history that say if you fill following condition, you win the game. Or if your opponent doesn't do following thing, they lose the game.
That's interesting.
My modern deck that I built and took to the GP in Fort Worth, one of its primary win cons is built around a card that says, pay 3, do the following chain of things. If you fill this condition, you win the game.
Huh, okay.
And I won more than a few games up there where my opponent was at 20 or more life. I never actually did combat damage to them. I just said, no, you don't get to play with me. No, you don't get to touch my things. You can do whatever you want, but you're going to stay on your side of the board, and I'm going to stay on my side of the board. And then, look, I win.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting. Yeah, and like in the end, this game, like that doesn't bother me that much. It's just like it's a type of game I can't see myself playing forever.
Right.
But the people who like these types of games, it's clearly for them. It's a solid game with the solid systems. I mean, adding in the deck building. First of all, adding the card picking from the binder into the deck building, and then adding the deck building to the Magic the Gathering type game, the patrol zone out there. I mean, it's all interesting. Like there's even some like Euro-y mechanisms with
a little bit, yes.
Getting gold, and you have to have gold to do this, and workers to get gold. I mean, you're having to like build. It's definitely like an engine building game mixed with the Magic game. You
Certainly.
know what I mean? So overall, I thought it was a really good game. I think if this is your type of game, it's definitely worth like really looking into to see if you want to buy this big box. The components are really nice, or at least buying that starter set to see if it's something you like.
If you're a card game player at all, and I know a lot of people are,
yeah,
I would certainly recommend getting the red green starter, I believe it is.
Yeah.
Just to have it to check out. If you know that you've listened to our review, you've listened to the Dice Tower review, because this thing has gotten great reviews pretty much everywhere, including this glowing one that we're giving right now. If you know that this is your type of game and that this is something that's going to be right up your alley, go get the big box.
Yeah.
The 2-player box, I feel the shelf life is going to be much faster on it.
For sure.
You're gonna figure out what you want to do with it, and then can I do my thing before they do their thing will be the extent of it.
Yeah.
The added variety, the added playability of having all of the decks, all of the cards available, to me makes that big box way more worth it if this is your type of game. I realize that that's a really hefty price tag, but if this is something you're going to enjoy, you'll get a lot of miles out of it. You really will.
Okay, cool. So I recommend from you.
I would, yes.
Awesome, me too. So even with my play style and my preferences, if you like this type of game, it'll be for you.
Yeah, I would sure. on a 1 to 5 scale, I'd probably give this 3.5, maybe even a 4. I
would say 4. Okay, I'm gonna quit qualifying it, but like for that type of player, definitely 3.5 or 4 for this game. So it also comes with some cool map cards that we didn't get a chance to try, and we didn't get a chance to try the other different play types.
Yeah, and we didn't get. I really wanted to do a free for all. That's something we went before we come back and look at this again. This is something that we need to do.
Yeah, and the map cards add like a special rule to the whole game, like workers don't cost money or something like that.
Right.
You just shuffle them up, choose one at random, and it's a spell for everybody essentially.
Correct.
So D, we're going to get to the end of the show right now, but before we do, Bags and Boards is brought to you by Game and Movie Traders, located at 2900 West Washington Street, next door to the movie theater here in Stephenville. Game and Movie Traders does buy, sell, and trade for both used and new video games. They offer new and classic video games for all systems, including PS4, Xbox One, as well as Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and all consoles in between. Information at 965game or at facebook.com/Game and Movie Traders Sville. So, D, we're going to get out of here, but before we do, wanted to talk about what we're talking about next week. I'm hoping we get Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle played before next week.
We're going to do it.
We can.
We're going to do it. It's going to happen.
And then, guys, I've got to get it back to my side of the court, D.
Oh, no.
The game after that, we're going to do a Euro.
Okay.
So I've got a ton there sitting, waiting to be played.
Sure.
I've got Royals. I've got the Networks. I've got the Gallerist we haven't talked about.
That's very true.
A lot of good Euros that we haven't talked about yet on the show. So we're going to get a Euro in. But Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle, the deck building game, talking about that next week. So if you're a Harry Potter fan, this is really the only Harry Potter game out there.
The really good one, anyway. I say that. I haven't played it yet.
Yeah.
But we've heard good things.
The only gamery Harry Potter game out there. So tune in, listen to that if you're a Harry Potter fan or if you're a board game fan. And we will see you guys next week.
Have a good night, everybody.
All right, bye.
And for today's weather forecast, there's a 100% chance of more rock hits.
Honestly, anywhere, like school.
100.7 KXTR, The Planet.
Or at work.
Keeping you updated in rock music. Not weather. Sorry.
Let's go.
Hey, America. We need to have a little talk. We've got a lot of food in this country. So how are 17 million kids in America struggling with hunger? That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks gathers surplus food and gets it to hungry kids who need it. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
To help solve hunger in North Central Texas and to find your local food bank, contact feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
100.7 KXTR The Planet is brought to you in part by Videos and More, located at 931 West Washington Street in Stephenville. Videos and More offers a variety of movies and video games for sale or rent, and also has a large option of select knives and other oddities in stock. For more information on Videos and More and their possibilities for Tarleton students and faculty, the store can be reached at 254-413-4734.